Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM21 Career Mode, episode 104. I'm down to my last few guys as Isakov just finished his task of bringing water forward. All we've done is one climb so far, but the undulation in between that climb and where we're at right now, and the pace of the Peloton has been enough to blow things up and make a stage that was looking quite easy into something quite challenging. Galvez, Igashin, Ryabovas, Narbutas all out the back. Isakov hanging on for the moment as we're in the middle of this 17-kilometer climb, even though it's just 4% overall. First steep part is now behind us. We have one more steep bit near the top. Isakov looks like he's about to go out the back, and the Peloton down to about 40 riders, though there is definitely a group of chasers trying to get back up there. Breakaway down to the last rider now, and he's not that far ahead, but my three guys here not doing that hot. Gonzalez Albiol and Martin Guerrero both are struggling a little bit, and Gonzalez Albiol looking slightly weaker, so let's go ahead and use him to protect our leader for now. We're going to be on to Martin Guerrero here in just a moment. 33 riders.
Watch out. A team leader is
It's a small
falling
group.
behind.
It's a small group, and it's getting smaller. Gonzalez Albiol hanging on, though, at the current tempo. Nobody pushing too hard, but Pidcock comes to the front to up that tempo a little bit. And this is a good chance to maybe grab KOM points. I haven't really been going for it. Martin Guerrero has 8. Ramen has 6. I don't want to lose these two. If they're still here, they're still here. So maybe we'll wait till kind of the final couple
This climb
hundred
features
meters.
some dreadful
And
percentages.
then just up to the front,
Our rider has a flat
and
tire.
take those
Let's
points
hope he
over
is
the
helped
top.
out quickly.
Galvez with a puncture. Sitting on for the meantime. Gonzalez Albiol, we got our water recently with just 35k to go, and most of it's downhill, so not worried about water again. And with 34 riders left, it's not going to shrink much more the rest of the way. And we have one more little climbing section, and then a pretty good descent. There's a fair amount of recovery happening.
Apparently, the leader is on the ground.
We might lose a few more riders, like a Gonzalez Albiol, before the end, but not too many. Gap has actually opened up to 2 minutes to Flores. Flores in the lead. I did try to get Ryabovas in the break one last time, and we fought, and we fought.
He's back in the saddle.
And then we were waiting patiently with plenty of energy left, with some that hadn't recovered. Went at the perfect time, and 4 guys tried to bridge the gap to the front group. 3 of them made it. He did not. He completely ran out of energy on the way. That little bit that he had already expended being part of it, but all 3 of the other guys that were with him, well, no, 2 of those 3 had attacked multiple times, more than the 2 that he had attempted, and they made it no problem. He came up a little bit short, about 40 seconds behind that front group, and
Adam Yates is off.
that was not enough. Okay, we've caught the front rider. We have a small group trying to attack here, but I'm pretty sure this is going to hold together on the way. We've got 29 riders. Martin Guerrero is hanging on here. Now 27, 26. Let's switch this up. Use Martin Guerrero to respond. And push at what tempo you can push, because I have a feeling that this thing is going to thin out just a little bit, and this descent is going to play the main factor in setting up the finish. This might not be all 22 at the finish line as this group continues to thin out that little bit more, and you can see Martin Guerrero putting the hard work in, and he is now quite fatigued, yet Karaman looks fine. 9k to go. Gel up for Martin Guerrero. The 9k are going to come pretty quick anyway, and I want him to start pushing forward and try to drag Karaman to the front of this group. Gel for Karaman with 6.5k to go. The descent is going to help the kilometers go by quick, but you can see from this, it's so technical that it would be really hard to chase somebody down right now. This would have been a really good time to be off of the front. Okay, we're going to start our attack with Martin Guerrero from 3 kilometers out. Now it's down to 2.5, and that's why we started so early, is this thing just goes on and on and on. And we're already coming up on 1K to go with Martin Guerrero having gone full sprint this whole time. Karaman, if he were a sprinter, could have done a little bit more. The entire group is together, though, as we go to hit the finish line. And there's your sprinters, Hershey, Pogačar, well, your punchers slash sprinters, Hershey, Pogačar, Velens at the front. Somebody is bound to have lost some time. Maybe. Main contenders definitely there. And we've climbed into the top 5. Yes, there have been changes. So there were riders that were caught out in this one. Karaman now 5th place, up 2 spots from where we were. Gegenhardt is definitely one of the riders who was caught out. I'm not quite sure who else was caught out, but Bernal lost a bunch of time. Here's what we're looking at for the stage. Okay, Carapaz, Vingegaard, Carthy, Berlikov are all up here. Skjelmos is up here. Aronsman just making it into that top 22. He's the last rider. Karaman, despite the perfect lead out from Martin Guerrero, couldn't finish ahead of anyone other than his lead-out rider, and Aronsman, who was falling off and was lucky to not lose time. He was dropped before the finish line. Martin Guerrero nearly lost time himself. Karaman was comfortably last place of the sprint, which was carried out by 20 riders. Bardet, Asgreen, Livens, De Plus. There's Gegenhardt losing 1:54. Here's Flores, Cosnefroy, Pidcock, Bernal losing 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Lopez. So how does that look now? We're looking at some key guys here. Lopez was already down a bit. There's Alaphilippe down a bit. Bokanoge, we've seen him in the break multiple stages so far. But Bernal at 3:18. That's a big loss for him, as he lost more than 2 minutes. So he was one of the ones ahead of us. That was the other one. So it was Bernal and Gegenhardt. That's huge time losses for them. Now, of course, Gegenhardt was a breakaway rider who reestablished a front position, but for Ineos, they didn't have anybody near the front. He is still their only rider in the top 10, and Ethan Hayter is down to 14th. And the guy who was their leader, I think he lost time today as well. Or is he out of the race entirely? I don't see him here. Maybe it was Gegenhardt. I don't know. But Gegenhardt already down to the back end of the top 10 just after climbing up into 2nd place. So Pogačar now leads from Berlikov. Those two really looking as a 1-2 punch to run away with this thing. After that, though, you have Uman, Evenepoel, and then Karaman in contention, just 10 seconds out of a podium place. Skjelmos, Carthy, Gegenhardt, Hamilton, Vlasov, Hershey, Carapaz, this whole group is still in it. It's close. I mean, we're looking at a 2-minute gap from 3rd through 16th. De Plus, there you go. That's who. De Plus was the one who was leading for Ineos. He's all the way down to 17th, so he lost time as well. I think the first rider, kind of the cutoff point for contention, I'd say, is De Plus. Adam Yates at 4.5 down is probably a little too far back. Bokanoge, as somebody who's already conceded and been doing breakaways, is probably too far back as well. But you're looking at a maybe 3.5 minute cutoff, especially when a podium spot is already 1.5 minutes behind. So it's just a 2-minute gap. You could easily cover that, especially those who wind up in breakaways. And for us, 10 seconds off podium is a great place to be, especially for a fairly solid time trialist in Karaman. But fairly solid doesn't get you over the line. It's a 50-kilometer time trial on stage 20 for this one, so it's huge. Berlikov's going to lose time. Uman is going to lose time. Evenepoel is an absolute contender, but we have some major mountain stages to come before that stage 20. Good chance that he's going to lose significant time. Same with Uman. I think Uman's going to fall away at some point. Berlikov, as strong as he is as a climber, though, and Pogačar could both pull away to some extent. I like our chances of maybe getting up to third. Skilmos is somebody who, as a really strong climber, could gain a lot of time. But as a weak time trialist, I think we could beat him. Carthy is one to watch out for because he's similar to us with all those bonuses that you get, making him that much stronger. Gegenhardt, of course, was a major threat. Surprised he fell away. I don't think he's really here to race GC, and I think Ineos kind of screwed up not switching their allegiance to him after he moved into second place. But without many strong time trialists around, you got to get all the way down to Vingegaard at 3 minutes behind, other than Gegenhardt, who they don't seem to be working for at Ineos, or just doesn't seem to be focused on GC, considering how much time he lost, how easily he lost it. I very much like our chances of climbing into the top three. Evenepoel's the one to watch out for. If he's getting +4s and 5s every day and can hang in there on the mountain stages and not lose much time, that 83 time trial with an 82 resistance, he's going to gain 2, 3, 4 minutes, even on us, let alone everybody else, in that time trial, as long as it is. We'd need a pretty big cushion. Right now we're 6 seconds behind, meaning no way we beat him at this point. Entering the final 20 kilometers of stage 13, another punchy stage, as we had a sprint stage in between. Got some recovery. I'm down to 5 riders here. Really poor race day condition as a team. It is raining. The weather is nasty. It is a factor. But our small group here in the Peloton for the final 15K, it's hurting. Krum's on a -2 today, but he's hanging in there. Ikeshin, Gonzalez Albiol also having -2s. That -6 gives us just a +5 as an entire team. Overall, really weak draw on the day, but I think we'll be okay. Karaman, you don't know. With the -2, though, it's risky. But just one final climb to navigate, get through. We're going to set ourselves up here shortly. Let's see, where is the top of the climb? 203. 3K before the finish. I'd say that's more like 2.25, 2.5K. And the climb itself, we're 11K from the top. It's about a 3K climb, and that's at full strength. Karama should be okay, but hopefully he manages to not get dropped, and then you still have kind of the finish line to get through from there. So Riabovis looks really good today. There's been something really off about this tour. Riabovis is that guy that I wanted to compete for the King of the Mountains. He has literally started every single stage from the very, very, very back of the Peloton. Paraman's been near the front, and Galvez has been near the front, and the rest of the team has been really poorly placed, but Riabovis has been at the back every time. And the same breakaway riders every single day are among the first 15 riders on the road at the start of every stage, and they get away first, and that's been the break. And then there's been 10 to 60 kilometers of attack after attack after attack of guys like Riabovis that are coming from further back trying to get into the breakaway. But by that point, that first group, the same set of riders every day, are long gone up the road, minute and a half up the road already, and nobody else wants to let anyone get in it. So we're seeing the same breakaway every day, and kind of sucks. Getting a little annoyed by it by this point, but we're going to set up our sprint train here real soon for final kilometers like this one. This is definite sprint train type territory, and as we get to 11K, I think now is the time to kind of make this happen. I don't want to go hard at this point because Karaman, right, trying to protect him, but Riabovis is that lead out guy today. Isakov is the other top climber, Martin Guerrero, and then Narbutas, who, even though he has a +4, and that helps, it's not a great day for him. But let's see what an 89 does. He's one of the front guys here, and 89 does seem to be just about enough to pull him through. But we could put the other riders slightly under distress before we hit that climb. Okay, gel up from Martin Guerrero. Now 8 kilometers to go, and we are under 6K from the top. I don't want Karaman by himself at the top. I want to have support beyond the climb, because the top of the climb is not the finish line.
Flat tire. It always
Okay,
happens at the wrong
Narbuta,
moment.
75 hills rating. We're going to go pretty hard here.
This climb features some dreadful
And
percentages.
he's into that last little stretch, and he's done.
Only 5
On to
kilometers
Martin
left.
Guerrero. 2.7 from the top, and Martin Guerrero taken off. Steepest part right now. It's going to ease off for just a little bit here. And Karaman feels it a little bit, but he's okay. And now Martin Guerrero can
Acceleration by
push. He's
Vlasov.
still got just a hair with the yellow bar. Now there's the last of that being used up.
rider has
Isakov,
just
likewise. 99, he's going to push on. One rider going clear. Is that Bernal? Whew, Igashin. It's Vlasov and Hershey. There's Berlikov. There's Bernal. 1K to go to the top of the climb. Let's keep on with Isakov for a little bit longer. Ryabovas is there on his wheels. Got these two guys that are riding clear a little bit, but with 700 meters, Ryabovas, Karaman are right there in a strong position. This time it was Romano trying to bridge that gap. That's fan art. And Isakov is now done. 500 meters to go. Gel up. And Ryabovas takes over. And we might be able to get something here. As we go over the top. 99. 99, you're close. 2K to go. 1.5. Ryabovas has that little bit in the tank. Now Karaman, his last little bit. Those couple breakaway specialists or puncher specialists are going to finish on top. That is Mark Hershey
He got
for
the better
another
of his
win.
breakaway
Vlasov,
companions to win
Romano,
this race.
Pogacar. We're not going to get an advantage here. No time
The
gains.
race is run,
We
but
have
the
a couple
poor
guys that are
souls
going to
bringing
gain
up
a
the
little
rear
something, but
continue
look at the
to cross
gap
line. It's a bit of a
behind
knock for
us.
the morale.
This is the important part. There's gaps behind us, meaning key guys are losing time. Skjelmos, Vingegaard, Uman, Carthy, all losing time. And many more on just a little punchy stage. And that's Karaman with a -2. Yes, Hershey, Vlasov, Romano, they gain a little something there, but those guys aren't real contenders. Hershey's having a great race, multiple stage wins, but in the long term, when we hit the major mountains, he won't be there. Vlasov is definitely more of a puncher now than a climber, like he was predicted to be a few years back. Romano misses out on any sort of time gap. Hershey, Vlasov gained 13 seconds plus the bonuses for the stage itself. Karaman, Ryabovas on same time with this group ahead of them, so that was good. But of course, Karaman I knew wasn't going to lose anything. It didn't look like Berlikov was either. But then we do see some gaps. 45 seconds to the chasers, so they lose half a minute, and then a minute 11 to the next group, including De Plus, so he's losing time today. Gegenhardt loses more time. Minute 43 to the next group. Arnsman in that one, so he's losing time. Lopez losing additional time. There's Almeida losing over 2 minutes. Bokonoge. Definitely some key riders losing some time. So how does this one shake it up? We are now up into 4th place. Pogacar still leads from Berlikov, 45 seconds back. A minute and a half to Evenepoel. He is still there, still threatening, but it's going to be the mountains when he loses, not the punchy stages that we've had today. Karaman, 4th place, just that few seconds off the podium, is a fantastic place to be. Also, the gap behind opening up just a little bit. Uman, now 2 minutes behind. Hershey, 2:20. Vlasov, 2:23. Skjelmos, 2:27. Carthy, 2:37. Carapaz just inside 3. And that rounds out the top 10. Bernal has now slipped back even further to 3:18. Gegenhardt, or no, I guess that's the same, but Gegenhardt losing time. Vingegaard, a lot of guys losing time. And we were talking about 3 minutes and 17 riders in contention. Well, that 3-minute gap has now already pushed out to about here. Wow, we were talking podium. So, what's that? Gegenhardt's kind of the end of that list now. These guys are starting to get too far back. Field has thinned. The field has definitely thinned, especially on this stage. And we have climbed right up the order. Not yet on the podium, but just off. Let's take a quick look at these contenders and what's left. We know that these guys can climb, but most of them not time trialists, other than Gegenhardt, but he's gone from 2nd to 7th to 12th. Looking higher up, who's a contender? Carthy? Sure. Skelmos? No. Vlasov? Definitely climb and punch they have, but not time trialist. So yes, he's a little bit of a threat. He had a good gain on that one. Hershey, with that 75 mountain rating and 73 time trial, guaranteed he's going to lose a significant chunk of time. It's that 82 hills rating, 78 acceleration, and great stamina resistance that has seen him win multiple stages and in a solid 6th place right now. But I suspect he'll fall off. Uman, same thing. He's there, but he won't be. Evenepoel, the mountain rating, still suspecting that he will lose time at some point. He's just got that 79 hills, 76 acceleration, and 82 resistance that has seen him have a strong tour so far. And Burlikov, of course, even though he is a massive threat, if we can stay close, if we can stay within 2 minutes, we could beat him in the time trial. But we're already a minute down, and we've got some big mountain stages to come. I just don't think we're going to be there. Same with Pogacar. But I would be very, very happy with 3rd and a huge gap behind us. That would be nice. And a lot of these guys are falling off. And the guys that can climb and are a threat, they're a good minute behind us and more. So far, so good. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.